The Graveyard of Empires. Afghanistan. The Soviet-Afghan War. A tale that is unheard of by many, but what happened in this bloody war that resulted in death of 2 million Afghans is still affecting all of us today, no matter where we are on this globe. So we must ask, what happened in the Graveyard of Empires? So ladies and gentlemen, here in Bertir, I present you the Graveyard of Empires series. Sit back, pour a cup of your favorite beverage and enjoy. Muhammad Zahir Shah, the king of Afghanistan. His reign began at the year 1933. He was the longest serving king of Afghanistan, his reign having its bumps, the highlight of which was a famine poorly managed by him. This was used as an excuse to overthrow him by Muhammad Daud Khan, his cousin and prime minister. The coup d'etat took place when the king traveled to Italy for treatment for his eye condition. After some time from the departure, the coup took place, which went unchallenged, making it a bloodless coup. Well, Zahir Shah, seeing that resisting this coup was fruitless, he decided to self-exile, and Daud Khan was left to lead the nation. Well, Muhammad Daud Khan, his reasons for coup may seem justified to few. To others, it seemed like he was doing to please the Pashtuns, as they were split between the borders of current-day Pakistan. This was the unignited fuel that was thrown at the Woodstock. What ignited this, it comes later on in the story. The idea of Pashtun nationalism was not favored by other groups, and he enforced the idea with an iron fist, imposing many and killing that further fueled the hate of the people. At this point, it was very clear. Saur coup. Now begins the Soviet Republic of Afghanistan. The coup d'etat killing of combined civilian and military personnel of 2,000 Afghans. Things only get better from now. Listen up. Well, Hafizullah Amin was kind of shit on how he imposed reforms on rural populace, which made the majority of the population of Afghanistan at the time. The land reforms mainly pissed a shit ton of farmers, and if you protested these reforms, we ask, well, get shitted on, boy, because the death penalty for political prisoners was imposed, and people who were against such named traitor. His heavy tax that he imposed on rural population only benefited the urban area. He wanted to centralize the population, and he wanted to do this very fast. But they just pissed a ton of people off. Protests happened, and he has someone opposing him. It's the Daraki. He kills him and then asks for help from Soviets to fight militants. But here's the thing. Brezhnev was a little afraid that the new jihadi dudes in Iran influenced Afghanistan, and from there, other Soviet nations. So he decides to invade Afghanistan. Some may call it intervention, but I think invasion is an appropriate word for this action. The goal of the invasion, intervention by some, kill Amin, but some other dude that's even less competent in leadership. Who was this dude? Babrak Karmal. I know I butchered that name. You see, the US and the Soviets weren't so chill, especially on how the Soviets supported the Viet Cong when the whole war happened. The main supplier of weapons of Viet Cong was the USSR, so the US saw a chance to not only get back, but really fuck up the USSR. And boy, did they hit jackpot. This gamble of supporting Mujahideen did bite them back, but that's entirely a topic for another video that will come out in the future. You see, the guns flowed like spice through border of Pakistan, but who was handing out these weapons like candy, you ask? Well, it's ISI, Pakistan's intelligence agency, and it seems they favor someone. Let's hope who they favor is not a terrorist organization filled with radicals. The killings that come after, to put short, were restless as both the Mujahideen and the Soviet forces pillaged and, well, you can get the idea of it. Years went by. What intimidated the jihadis was the Mi-24 helicopter and the Mi-8. Mi-24 was a more of a firepower role, while Mi-8 was a troop transport. You see, the Americans then gave Mujahideen a very fun toy called the Stinger missile. A missile that was very cheap considering it was taking out helicopters worth millions of dollars. And training people to use this missile just took a few days to say the least. So now the Soviet troops already under hell with air support of these helicopters, even it just got worse. And considering the fact that these helicopters were used to absolutely level villages of civilians, I think they got justice. Well, there was an Afghan army, right? What did those guys do then? Well, you see, the Afghan army really, or the Khalq army to say it best, was not very motivated, trained, or best paid blokes. Imagine joining a group that terrorizes your fellow people on a daily basis, defies your religion and culture. That's the Khalq army. And that was the motivation given to the troops. In terms of training, not much. I mean, they needed to fill boots up, so 6 months of training, it wasn't enough really to fight against dudes that knew the mountains of Pajmir like back of their hand. So the army did nothing but surrender or retreat at the site of the fight when a competent leader took place of Carmel. He was Muhammad Najibullah, someone who seek to unite all under the Socialist Republic of Afghanistan. Though it was peaceful manner, managing to bargain a peace deal with Ahmad Shah Massoud. I think he was the leader of Mujahideen in the northern front or something. Just the Hindu Kush mountains or something. And what happened was, well, Najibullah's reforms were somewhat anti-communist to say the least, as he gave back some land, asked for businessmen that were exiled to come back to the country, and made Islam the main religion of the country, making it from turning away from the secular stuff to better bargain a deal with the Mujahideens. Unfortunately, it was very late to assign him as a leader, as the USSR was pulling back from Afghanistan, plus the army wasn't that much competent, and without support, Najibullah's reign didn't last that long. In, I think, 1992, he managed to get his family out of Afghanistan, but unfortunately, Taliban take Kabul, and with it, they hang Najibullah, and there is it. The last days of the Afghanistan Soviet Republic. 2 million civilians dead, many more scattered. Massoud resisted the Taliban after the republic was, destroyed, but he was assassinated, I think, 2 or 3 days before the attack of 9/11. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you all for listening. I have a few book suggestions about the topic, but I want to put that out when the series is finished. I will probably cover Vietnam. That's all. Man is spread out. Editor's note. This fucking bird sitting right next to the window, it's staring into my soul right now. It's looking as if it didn't do nothing. The fucking thing is not letting me record the session. This is the 7th time I have been like recording this editor's note. I'm not gonna talk about how many times I repeated other sessions, but if this thing